Come on, folks, we've got to stop this driving and texting. The wrecks are very severe. This is another attempt by me to caution people about the dangers of texting while driving. I made my first anti-texting tape in 2010 when I first realized how dangerous getting your eyes focused. It's something close to you, and you don't see anything that's beyond that 10 inches or so when you're looking at something close. So I did a tape on that mainly for the kids and anybody else who would watch it. And I don't know, I hope somebody did some good. But here I am again in 2017. The world is still catching up with the severity of distracted driving, and in the case of texting, it's total distraction. You're not. People say, "Yeah, I can look down and look up, and we've done the calculations on that, and in that short period of time, you can go 3 or 4 feet over to the left and have a head-on collision." So it took the authorities a long time to finally start trying to tell people not to text while driving. And now their current slogan is "Don't text, don't wreck." Stop the text, stop the wrecks. And that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about stopping wrecks. The problem is the wrecks are very severe in the case of texting. You go in head on. You don't even decelerate. There's no braking. There's no avoidance. There's no swerving. You just go in full speed. When the bus driver is texting and he plows into a bunch of cars, he's going at full speed, whatever speed that is. If the bus driver was, even if he was drunk, he would at least look up and see something and start braking. So texting is worse than drunk driving. And it really bothers me when you're in a group and someone asks for a show of hands who here text while they drive, and people raise their hand and smile. And this is no joke. You're talking about maiming people, killing people, very severe wrecks. I've tried to show that graphically, and I hope it comes through. So in trying to present this graphically, we have just a simple chart here. Say this represents 1,000 wrecks, and this is the severity of the wrecks. Up here it's very bad. You're killing people. You're maiming them. You're crushing them. You're sending home vegetables. And down here, somewhere down in here, is fender benders, where you bump into things and it's called a wreck and everything, but you're not hurting people. You're spending money, but you're not sending people to the hospital. And this in between. Now, this curve represents probably the traditional one. We have some very bad wrecks where people either aren't driving well, make mistakes. Maybe they don't pay attention to. They're doing something else. But in this case, we have a lot of bad wrecks, but then we don't have that many of them. And then it gets down into the fender benders, and I'm not sure how this curve goes, but it's somewhere down here. You have a lot of fender benders. Now, when you're texting, you don't slow down, you don't avoid anything. You just go right in full speed. And there's very few fender benders when in texting. I'm sure there are. You bump into the guy in front of you, you're not going to kill him. The bad one is when you go head on into somebody. And we design cars for a 30, 35 mile an hour barrier impact. And that's the same as hitting another car head on, going, or say a parked car going 70 miles an hour. Or 2 cars hitting each other both going 35 miles an hour. That is a very, very violent impact. And here we're talking about cars going much faster than that and then driving right into somebody. And all this under the curve here is the difference between what we've experienced normal wrecks and the texting wrecks. The texting wrecks are much more severe, and I don't think the government's caught up with that, and people realize that when you go into the other person, you're going full speed. Even a drunk would hit the brakes or swerve, or at least a drunk is sitting behind the wheel trying to drive. A texting person is sitting behind the wheel, not paying any attention, going right into whatever they're impacting. It's very serious, and you should not make a joke of this. People should get put in jail for texting. We need a campaign to talk about the severity of texting and how much more severe it is. So I hope, this is more preaching by me about texting, but I hope it gets to a few people. Good luck.